What's going on, guys? It's Monday, kind of a busy MMA news day, so I thought I'd chop it up with you for a few minutes to talk about what's going on. First up, Kevin Lee did a interview. I think it came out today, this morning, and he's calling out Tony Ferguson, which is an interesting call out with both guys coming off losses, and basically he's calling it a loser leaves town match, kind of WWE style, I guess. He said one of us has to go, so let's fight. I could see where that fight could get booked. Unfortunately, I would rather see one of these guys fight some younger fighters and give those younger fighters a chance to come up off of one of these guys, a good performance. I don't see where either of these guys really get back into title contention with a win over the other. But it could be interesting. Kevin Lee says he will be back around the summertime, so we'll see what happens with that. Also today, there are reports that TJ Dillashaw says that he actually wants to wait for a title shot. We were talking about that last night on episode 6 of the Fight Gods podcast. But so he wants to wait for a title shot. He says if he can't get a title shot, he wants somebody in the top 5. So that would probably rule out the fight with Uriah Faber that they've been talking about and targeting. I have always been saying since Corey Sandhagen won that fight that him and TJ is the fight to make. But, we'll see which way they go. If anybody's watching this that wants to make comments, go ahead and comment. And, I can answer comments or, if you have any ideas, stuff like that. So another news story, and I hate to even bring this up, but it is MMA news, and I can't just say the good things. But Travis Fulton, MMA legend, he's got over 300 fights. He's got 323 sanctioned MMA fights, which means he's probably got more because he started back in the 90s. 323 fights. He was indicted, I believe, over the weekend on child pornography charges. And that's just sad. I mean, this guy has fought a who's who of MMA fighters. I mean, he's fought Dan Severn. He's fought Rich Franklin. He's fought Forrest Griffin. He's fought Babalu. I mean, this dude, Andrei Arlovsky. I mean, he's in very small company with the amount of fighters that have over 100 sanctioned fights. I mean, you've got Dan Severn, and you've got Shannon the Cannon, Rich, and you've got Travis Fulton. I don't think Shoney Carter's up there as far as sanctioned fights. I know he has over 100 fights. But, man, those 4 guys probably have the most fights. Oh, and Jeremy Horn. Those 5 guys definitely have the most fights in MMA history, and this guy's the leader. And for him to have gotten arrested, for some shady stuff is pretty sad. I hate to see it. So hopefully it's not true as far as the charges. Hopefully none of it's true, but I did want to bring that to you because that is breaking news in MMA. Jake wants to know what app do I use to stream on? We use StreamYard, Jake. Let me see. Fix my hair a little bit. It's looking a little crazy. I don't know why. Maybe putting the headphones on messed up. There we go. I look pretty again. Travis he fought in the UFC a few times. He's fought all over the world. Like I said, 323 sanctioned fights, which is amazing. He last fought, I believe, in 2019 against Shannon Rich. So, we'll keep you up to date on that one right there. Also, a lot of fights were announced over the last couple days. And it's weird because the Pedro Munoz fight versus Jimmy Rivera has been made official, but I've been hearing rumors that it's actually going to be canceled. So I'm not sure what's going on with that fight. I really want to see that fight. Pedro is a stud. I mean, he's shown that, he knocked out Cody. He's had a couple of tough fights. I believe that he's lost by decision lately, but man, that dude is tough. And Jimmy, I mean, they don't get any tougher than Jimmy. That guy has never had a bad fight. His fight against Marlon Moraes wasn't his best outing, but besides that, Jimmy, man, he's a gamer. He'll fight anybody. I really wanted to see that fight. So another fight that was booked over the weekend, I believe, Angela Overkill Hill versus Ashley Yoder. I like that. That's a pretty good, exciting fight at strawweight. So both of those fights have been added to UFC Fight Night Vegas. Let's see. So let's see what other fights have been added. Okay, so added to UFC 259. You have Mario Batista, who's 2-1 in the UFC, taking on Trevin Jones, who will be making his UFC debut. So we'll see what happens with that. With Hazmat Chimaev out, Belal Muhammad steps in to fight Leon Edwards. We knew about that one. I think that this is Muhammad's biggest shot, and if he wins that fight, I mean that's huge. Really hoping that he does well in that fight. I mean, that guy's been around for a while. Let me look up real quick what his record in the UFC is. Yeah, I mean, Belal Muhammad is 9-3 in the UFC. He's quietly put together a heck of a record. I mean, overall, he's 18-3, 9-3 in the UFC. That's very impressive. I mean, Leon Edwards is ranked, I don't know, 2 or 3, and he's 18-3 overall and 10-2 in the UFC. So, one more win. If Belal would have had one more win than loss, he'd be 10-2 in the UFC. So really, that's his chance to really shine. If he gets a win there, he's in line for a title shot not too long down the road, or at least a big main event. That's his push. Hopefully he can get it. I'm glad that he took that fight. It's kind of short notice. It's only a few weeks away in March 13th, so that's 3 weeks away. But that should be an exciting fight. So another fight that got booked, Ryan Spann will be taking on Misha Kirchev. That will be the same night. That's also UFC Fight Night in Vegas on March 13th. Let's see what else. Johnny Eduardo is going to be taking on Anthony Burchak. That's going to be on Fight Night on March 20th in Vegas. And Gregor Gillespie is back. I believe this is his first fight back after being knocked out by Kevin Lee. I'm not positive about that, but he'll be taking on Brad Riddle, who's been perfect in the UFC at 3-0. So, that should be a good fight as well. And those are pretty much the major fights that have been announced over the last few days. Mike Perry versus Daniel Rodriguez added to Fight Night in April. That should be a pretty good fight. I was really hoping that Mike Perry would fight somebody who had like a bigger attitude like him. That he's always fun to watch fight, and it'd be nice to see him up against somebody who can talk trash, like they've been doing with the Darren Till thing. I wouldn't mind seeing him go up to 185 to fight Darren Till, because I think regardless of how long that fight lasts, the buildup will be worth it. And even if it was a short fight for either guy, it would be exciting while it lasted. So yeah, that's pretty much most of the news for today. Not too much else is going on, but that's quite a bit. Everything else is pretty much the same as what we talked about last night. We have a fight night coming up this weekend, which we will discuss when I'm back here with the guys. I think that we should be talking about it Wednesday night, while we're not doing the interview, probably after the interview, something like that. But that should be a pretty exciting event. Cyril Gain will be taking on Biggie Boy in the main event, so I'm excited about it. I actually think on paper it's a better event than we just saw on the Fight Night Lewis versus Blades. But on paper, certain events look better and then they don't perform. Everybody was talking junk about the Fight Night that we just saw, and then it ended up being a heck of a fight. So we'll just we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. other fights on the card, though, I will just give it a quick rundown. Let's see. I'm pulling up the card right now so we can go over it real quick. Oh yeah, Ankalev versus Krylov should be a good fight. I've always loved Krylov. I always think that he is just an underachiever, but he's always like one step away from really being great. And hopefully, maybe this could be his chance to do something amazing. That's the co-main event. Also, Montana De La Rosa versus Myra Bueno Silva. That's going to be on the main card. The Pedro Munoz versus Jimmy Rivera fight that I was just talking about will be on the main card. Angela Overkill Hill versus Ashley Yoder will be on the same card, on the main card. And yes, I always say Angela Overkill Hill because I think that is one of the awesome nicknames in MMA. And rounding out the main card is Alex Caceres versus Kevin Kroom. And on the undercard, Alex Hernandez will be taking on Thiago Moises in the main event of the undercard. And Alex Oliveira, his opponent dropped out. So let's see. I'm going to check real quick and see if they have a replacement for him because I remember seeing something about that. Let me see if they have somebody listed fighting him in the prelims. Nope, Randy Brown is out, and they are just looking for somebody to take on Cowboy Oliveira. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. You guys be good. Make sure that you tune in on Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, and we'll be doing the interview and all that kind of stuff. And you guys be good, and we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in.